Hi, this is Kevin Burgess with my corporation, and today I would like to talk about grids. Grids are not really ideal for PDF exporting because just their very nature, they lend data to be clipped off, and it's hard to format them within a giant grid. So in this case, I wanted to show you a simple method to create a report page that generates a PDF with a variable size from data within this grid. So to start off, I created a grid already and a hotspot. All we'll do is click that button and it will open up a PDF page that's filling in data values from this field. On page 2, I created dynamic labels for each of the relevant fields of that grid. Now the first thing I'll want to do from here is create the background image, and we'll do that really simply by hitting Control P for print and select only the second page. The first page we don't need to show up in our report because it's just showing the grid. So we'll change that from 2 to 2. And I'll name this one blank, just like the one that's already there. And now you can see it's created this PDF file. All it shows is one page and just has those titles and the Myco logo. Now we'll attach that to the form by clicking File, Form Properties, and Attachments. Click Add. We'll find the blank PDF I just created. Now all the rest will happen in the script editor, so let's jump over there. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to want to do is populate that grid with some filler data. So we can do that in the After Open event in here. So I'll just paste this stuff that I've already created in there. This first thing here just freezes off the report page, so you only see page 1 when you're looking at the form. And this function fills the table. So now I've got to add a getTable function into this. So I'll do that here. We'll just put it right after this one. Okay, so now we have a getTable function, and it will just create these columns: dosage, drugs, patients, and date, which match up with the columns that we had on our form. And now we want to add a method to our hotspot to make it create this report page. So on page 1, we'll find that hotspot, generate report, and start a new event called After Ink Added. And we'll put in a function called generate PDF. Next, we will add generate PDF. Right after this function, you can see that it's given an error because that doesn't exist yet. So now we have a function called generate PDF, and I'll kind of go through this a little bit for you. What's going on is that we've named the file blank.pdf, so we're creating that attachment ID. And we're using a function called getPDFAttachmentID. I better add that function in as well right here. So since that's the first step going on, right after this function, we'll add getAttachmentID. All this does is take the name of a file and find the ID. You could just pass the ID straight to this function if you wanted to, but often it's easier if you just know the name of the file to be able to get that. So now we have this getPDFAttachmentID. It'll grab that, and here it creates render settings for the PDF. Now there's other tutorials that show what this function's actually doing, but I'll just kind of quickly jump through, and it explains render settings better. But I've also created a location to export my PDF file to. And at the end of this function, I have a method to just start the file so that it'll pop open as soon as it's been created. In here we're adding only page 1 to the PDF file that we're creating, and we're doing a loop so that we can go through each item in the grid and add them to a new page. And let's see, I guess the next thing to do would just be show you how this works. So now let's test this form. I'll hit Control T, launch the tester. Of course it goes on the wrong screen, but here you are. We have, this is our sample data that we just populated the grid with. It can be any data you want, but you'll want these column names to match up with the information that's on page 2. You can't get to page 2 on this because you saw that I set it up to freeze that page. All we do is click on Generate Report, and a new PDF file opens up, and you can see the first item should correspond with that first item on the grid. The second page will correspond with the second item, and it continues on. So this can happen for as many pages as you want. I'll close this down. But you can do that repeating page for 20 or 50 items, and it will generate a PDF that's exactly that size. Now there's some more things that you can do with this as well. Instead of doing it from a button, often you'll want that PDF to be generated. Maybe if you're running it on the server, you'll want the server to generate that PDF. So in that case, you could use the after data paths run event and add in a function that allows you to tell where it's happening. So if you pick your, you could do a function that filters it out based on scope if the scope is equal to the data path scope. Oops, I gotta capitalize that. And you can choose your client or the server, wherever you want this PDF to be exported. And then just run the same function we were running before, which was called generate PDF. So that would be all you would need to happen if you wanted this to happen only on the server side and generate the PDF into a specific location. As you can see, I just put it into a hard-coded location, but you'll want to create a better method of placing the file. Anyhow, I hope that this has been helpful for you, and thanks for taking your time to watch this video.